Hello, everyone. Welcome once again. My name is David Cunha, Head of Delivery at Agile Thinkers, and I'm super excited to have you here for this webinar about Kanban as an evolutionary way of working. So this webinar is brought to you by Agile Thinkers. So we are our company that teach and helps through education, consulting, and events like this one, other companies to adopt new ways of working. And what are those new ways of working, you might ask? It's a super valid question. So we believe that all organizations must exist to create products and services that solve the needs of their customers. That's it. And find ways to attract non-customers, which exist in a bigger number, as you know. And in a nutshell, it's all about solving business problems. It's all about being able to adapt to market changes with motivated teams around a strong vision and purpose. In the end, it's a human job. It's for them, with them, and for their customers. Let's meet our speakers for today. So we have Rui Pacheco on the left, the Head of Engineering and Customer Service at Korber Supply Chain Portugal. So Rui, after 12 years at Accenture, 5 of them in London, right? As delivery lead for business transformation programs, who is now focused in growing the warehouse management system solution for Korber supply chain to the next level. And the software teams already adopted Kanban last year in order to become more effective and to work towards a shared goal culture in a learning culture too. And besides that, then we have also Rui Fernandes here, which is the Bosch Production System Coordinator from Bosch Security System at Ovar, Portugal, and who has been at Bosch since 1998, right? So it's already 24 years almost, right? Which is a long journey. You introduced lean principles in the industrialization of new products and services. You established Bosch Production System plant vision, roadmaps, KPI. You teach and coaches a lot of teams in this culture of improvement and in practices over the last 20 years. And more recently, Agile and Kanban Method specifically has been part of the life of Rui. And through the adoption of this method through several value streams that Bosch structured back in 2020 to deliver product lines to their customers. So this topic of Kanban and Agile, it's something that is being adopted recently by both companies. And today, our focus here with this session is for Rui Pacheco and Rui Fernandes to share their experiences and the pitfalls and the challenges and what Kanban is all about. Okay, so before we jump into this conversation, and we have we have over 50 people here with us. For you at home, and I saw based on the answer from your acquaintance with the method, some of you can be very already acquainted with the methods. For others, it's probably something quite new. So the first question is what Kanban is, right? What's Kanban? So basically, Kanban method enables you to think about your products, your services, with a focus on improving them from your customer perspective. And you're gonna be able to visualize, which is the knowledge work, which is invisible, right? The knowledge work that your teams are developing through a workflow, through a board of work. But much more than that, the team will be able to take decisions. They will be able to adopt elements of alignment, of communication, focus, of risk management, and also of continuous improvement, because they will know what's going on and they will discuss with facts and with information, with data. And while this usually brings quick benefits at the team level, right? Applying the Kanban method to a greater scale, for example, to a line of services that is holding the work of multiple teams, can bring even greater opportunities for you and for your organization. So that's why Kanban is quite nice to be adopted in the beginning as a team level and then growing to services and to a network of services. But much more than that, it's all about how people communicate, take decisions, and talk with each other. And there's a huge human factors here involved. Rui Pacheco, I know that during last year or 2 years, the software teams from Korber were facing some challenges. And this urgency of working differently was created. So tell us more about which challenges and what were the impact of these challenges.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks very much for having me, David. Good afternoon to all the attendees and to Rui Fernandes as well. So as you've mentioned, David, we at Korber Supply Chain, we have been experiencing exponential growth, which is great. So more projects, more challenges. So good environment for a company, but it brings other challenges with it as well. And for us was the fact that we couldn't cope with the amount of workloads that we had in our software team. We didn't have good visibility of the amount of work that we had. We had people jumping from one task to the other, too much work in progress, that then eventually was not finalized. Quality was being impacted as well. So I would say that the first signs that we had a problem in the way in which we were planning our activities was that lack of visibility of the amount of work that we had in the pipeline, difficulty in planning, and eventually making our team jumping from one task to the other without great method. Okay, so difficult to prioritize as well. So those were challenges that we were facing. On the top of that, in order to resolve those challenges, the way in which we've been operating over the last years, where we had project teams working on those specific projects and in specific technology, resulted in silos of knowledge. And when you had to support other teams that were in struggling to deliver, you couldn't, because you didn't spread the knowledge across the team. And at the end of the day, you had this huge workload to deliver, lots of work in progress, but you can't really deliver to anyone else because you are the only one that knew how to do it. So this, I guess, this would be the second big challenge we had at the time. And lastly, we had a pretty vertical organization. Basically, manager level would dictate how we would work, how we would operate, how we would plan activities. And we didn't have great ownership and responsibility within the rest of the team. And at the end of the day, you would lose as well all the feedback and all the experiences from the team that were on the field developing the solution as well. And these would be, I guess, the third large challenge that we had, where people wouldn't own those challenges. They wouldn't be able to communicate as well with the rest of the team and be part of the solution and not only part of the problem, I would say. So in a nutshell, I guess these were really the challenges that we were facing at the time, with the exponential growth of projects that we had, and how they were impacting our not only our delivery, but the way in which we would operate on a daily basis.
Yeah, perfect. And Rui Fernandes, in this case, there was an initial change in the way Bosch teams worked back in 2019, 2020, when Bosch decided to create the value streams aligned with the product lines. Why that change was adopted and how it was developed after that?
Okay, so good afternoon to you all. Thank you, David, for the invitation. I'm very pleased to be here and share our experience. Hello also to Rui and everybody that is joining us in this panel. So what happened with the value stream teams in 2019, 2020 was something that started much before, when the strategy from the company had two major blocks, let's say it like that. So we realized that we had to increase our portfolio of products that we had in-house, and additionally we had to increase the portfolio of services that we offer to our customers. So in terms of products, we decided that we had to go for other products within our division, but also other divisions within Bosch, rather than the typical security products that we do. In terms of competencies to our customers, instead of being a manufacturing plant, we want to be, and we are now, thank God, we are a organization that is able to get the customer requirement. We developed, we industrialize, and we supply the goods to our customer. And that's why now we have a very big investment in R&D with R&D teams. These R&D teams are using also agile methods like Scrum. The focus now is today is on the Kanban method, that is the one that we use in operations, more related with manufacturing and with industrialization. Why we move to value stream? So for us to grow, not only in services to our customers, but also in product portfolio, we had to be faster than competition to get those opportunities. And this means that we had to move from a traditional vertical organization, very, let's say, or more rigid and with several layers of leadership, to a more flat organization where decisions basically are taken faster. And this means that we had to go to value stream organization with one value stream manager per team, and we had a multidisciplinary team with different competencies that enabled fast decisions and grasp the opportunities that were in front of us. And that was the big reason why we moved to value stream organizations and teams. It is for us to have fast decisions in order to grasp the opportunities we have to our customers.
Exactly, and it's still a challenge, right? Because the value streams are still a new thing for the organization since 2020, right?
Yeah, and now with the introduction that we had 1.5 years ago with Kanban, it fits like a glove because it helps us speed up that decision-making process. Yeah, and the Kanban method gives us the opportunities to improve the teams, the work that they deliver to our customer, and basically what we want is to do what the customer wants faster. And the Kanban method fits like a glove to understand where we can further improve this process.
Yeah, Rui Pacheco mentioned a little bit about what the teams delivered, about the warehouse management system, the developers. Can you tell Rui Fernandes what the value stream teams are currently delivering, but for the audience to understand the products that you are working on?
So as I told, we have the development area. They take care of development of new products. The value stream teams are responsible for 2 big blocks. So after development, they do the industrialization from development up to the plant, to a mature stage of production in the shop floor, and then they handle the production and the operations of the existing portfolio. Let's call it like that. So there's also product lifecycle management on the existing products that has to be made. There are activities that have to be done in the industrialization of the new products, being it new processes, develop new competencies, equipments, whatever. And all that now is organized around the Kanban boards, where basically people understand the work that has to be delivered to each different customer, can be internal or external, and they prioritize and decide who is taking which activity when. And basically the idea is always to meet the requirements, the deadlines, and the quality, and just deliver as fast as possible.
The products are quite interesting. You're talking about security products, right? Sensors, cameras.
I thought you had pictures of it.
So no, I don't have it.
Basically, what we do, we are Bosch Security Systems. Basically, our portfolio includes security cameras for applications in airports, hotels, casinos, in stadiums. We also have a portfolio connected with communication products, and basically we do products that integrate a network of products for security of buildings and security of people. So you can find our products in the parliaments of Portugal and so on. Additionally, based on our spread of portfolio, we also do products for other divisions within Bosch, electronic parts.
Yeah. Perfect. So jumping in now into the method and Kanban. So as I mentioned earlier, Kanban means thinking about your services with a focus on improving them from your customer perspective. And both of you touch on that necessity, urgency to work like that. So when that adoption of Kanban started in both of your companies, you remember that the roles, responsibilities were like respected from the day one, because nothing changed. People still work the same. They are the same. Still, if you have Scrum Master, delivery manager, product owners, or project managers, everything stays the same. But you introduce elements for the team to discuss what's going on and to focus on less activities, because less is more. So regarding that, since you both observed that first moment, that day one when the method was adopted, how was it? What did you notice from there?
Well, maybe if I may,
yeah.
I guess the first reaction we've seen was the excitement in the team, specifically across the developer, the team of developers, to be part of the solution and to have a voice and to feel empowered as well to be part of the change process. Typically, companies try to face resistance to change when they try to move into other ways of working. We didn't have that problem here, so people recognized the need for change, and they were happy with that. Okay, it doesn't mean that we do not need to have a strong change management process in place, but in terms of resistance, that was not the case, and people were really excited to participate. Yeah, and then it was great to see that when we were in the position where we were a bit at loss in terms of the workload that we had, just by putting all the work that we had in the Kanban board, it was almost a phase of realization. So people actually could see the monster and understand the size of it, and understand that effectively we had a problem in our hands that we had to resolve, and that was really good. Once we've started to use the methods, then there was also the challenge of, okay, I've been working like this all the time. I know I need to deliver yes or yes by this time, and the customer wants by this date, so I need to deliver. That was another realization. We were not even discussing with the customer if there were other options. We were taking for granted what the customer is expecting from us. And actually what the customers want from us is agility, velocity, but above all, quality and deliver on time as promised. And not try to promise what then we cannot do and what we can do, but without the necessary quality. So that was a strong point that we've discussed as well. And in there, it takes effort from the leadership to get the assurance to the team that less is more. Yes, we will deliver less now because we'll put the house in order, and then we will be faster in the delivery in a future stage. So that was important. It was important for all levels of the team, but especially for the team that usually wasn't part of the planning process, because they were now part of it, and they could actually have a say and have a word when we discuss what activities do we need to deliver and where we're struggling to deliver or not, and they will be able to raise their hands without any risk associated to say, I need help here. How can they deliver this faster? So I guess from an ownership perspective, that was really the first victory for the team, to be able to own the activities that each one of us were responsible for, and making sure that we had a voice on how to deliver that. Yeah.
And what about Bosch, Rui Fernandes? You saw that moment several times.
Yeah. We have 3 teams already working with Kanbans, and we also have the background from Lean, so I know very well more or less what's to expect on the organization. And yeah, I think like we said, we didn't get anyone with much resistance. Of course, there were some faces that, what does this mean? What we are going to gain with us? And there was those other people that jump already. Yeah, something new. Let's start and so on. So we have mixed feelings. It's true. But as Ruiz mentioned, also one thing that we also guarantee to the people is we have to understand very clear why we are going to do this. Yeah, so the needs for change, the purpose why we are going to introduce this Kanban method has to be very clear for the team, and we try as much as possible to do that to the teams. It's a practice that we have in house, also with Lean, not only with Kanban. Everything we do to improve the work of the people means that they will get the same result or the best results with the same amount of effort or less. So it has to be in the beneficial of the team for them to accept that we have this new method as something good for them to happen. And it is. The fact that the people don't know does not mean that it doesn't work. That's why we say trust us, because in the end of the day, we fully understand that this will help you. And it will help you how? As we mentioned, when we start visualizing on a Kanban board, the amount of work that we have to do, and seeing that really we have to prioritize things in a different way. We have to question if all this work is necessary. Then we start seeing that we can improve based on what we do today. And then people start seeing some benefits out of it. So even though we can have some people in the beginning with some question, doubts, how this can help me, because in the beginning, we have some efforts to do. We have to do the regular meetings. We have to visualize on the board what we are doing the work. And so for some people, that can be an additional load of work. But once they start seeing the benefits on the decisions that we take based on that discussions, then very easily we can see that the people are going on board and try even to improve the way they are doing things. And sometimes we even have to slow down. Let's take some more observations, and then we can change. Yeah. So I think it's mixed feelings. But it's absolutely normal to have that. It's absolutely normal. We don't expect everybody. Yeah. Don't expect everybody to jump. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because as you both mentioned, it brings to the table the vulnerabilities of the team and of the organization too. And then there are people that will align with this change more easily, others that will they'll not align that way, and will be harder for them to understand why we are doing this. But as we can bring some small results, outcomes, it can change their behavior, so their mind. But even though there is no silver bullet over here, right? Both of you know that there is no silver bullet solution. It's not something that you can buy out of the shelf, apply, and that's it. Bam, you have Agile, you have customer satisfied. It's much more than just the events or the meetings. It's much more than being at 8:30 a.m. in the morning saying what I'm going to do during the day. It's much more than that. It's about commitment, transparency, respect, discipline, and skills, and having being eager to get better with time. And it's hard. I know that, and you know that it's hard for getting this journey. But one question that I have here, and probably most of the audience also want to know, which is, okay, we get the events, we get dailies, retrospective, we get the board visualization, but there is behaviors that are being changed right here. Yeah, there is people that are changing the old way of working to a new way of working, even though they bring all the memories and all the vicious cycle from the past. What did you find different now in the team's behaviors that you didn't find in the past?
First of all, is the possibility to discuss and to take informed decisions, more than the method, or more than the Kanban itself, is the fact that we have opportunities to look into what we need to deliver, and discuss about it and have informed discussions and take decisions based on those informed discussions. And for me, that was a game changer, because we had more people participating. We had better visibility over what were the challenges, and that helped with the quality of the delivery at the end of the day. Nonetheless, I mean, we have people that have been used to work in a certain way over the last, I don't know how many years, and it takes leadership to make things happen, and we can see that things typically evolve more rapidly than they try to start coming down again, and eventually you need to make some pressure again for things to pick up. But for me, in terms of leadership, is the fact that you're there, you explain to the people why you are doing this, just like we mentioned before. You get their feedback, you give them the confidence to trust in the method and to follow the method as discussed, and ensure that they are the ones understanding that what how they're doing at the moment has advantages over the old ways of working. Because if you oblige people to work like this, and you do not have their buy-in, it will fall. So this is a continuous journey, and what we see is that we're not there yet. It's continuous improvement. People adopted the methods, people like the methods, people like to enjoy the benefits of the method, but indeed you need to have good and strong leadership to keep the method alive, essentially.
Yeah, good point. The leadership part is one of the questions I had for you also, but because if there is no buy-in from the structure of the company, it will be hard to do some changes, because in the end you'll be doing local optimization in your team, but then we cannot forget that an organization is a network of services, of teams that deliver services to each other, and then there are clients in the end that buy your services and buy your products. Yeah, that's quite important point. Fernando, how do you see this change in the behaviors, and how? And you can also think about the challenges and the pains that are still happening right now.
Yeah. So I'll share my experience. We have, as I told you, we have 3 teams working. All of them are different, and all of them are achieving different results, and all of them are at different levels of maturity. Yeah. And having said that, why is that? Because in the end of the day, we are talking about people. We are talking about people that do the work, and it can be the work that is different, but also the team part plays a role. So we have teams that are much more, let's say, advanced as a team, and others not so much advanced. And that is perfectly normal. That is perfectly normal. And as Rui said, and you mentioned, leadership plays a role. But I want to emphasize here something important on leadership. We are talking about leadership here, and the experience I have also from the lean, from the years that I have. We are not talking about leadership of the manager or the person above in the hierarchy. We are talking about individual leadership of each element of the team. So the Kanban board will tell us what is preventing us from giving the job done to the customer, or why we don't do it faster. But it's up to the team and each individual that participates in the team to want to improve, and that's leadership. So there must be an active contribution of each one to evolve and try new things. Yeah, and sometimes if we see a colleague that is not performing so well, or we see a colleague that needs help, then we have to step up and help him. And this leadership can be sponsored, yes, by a manager, but the way I see it and what we practice here is the manager, the hierarchical manager, the value stream manager, let's put it this way, that is with the team, is there to facilitate trainings, availability of money or time to do something, extra capacity. But he will not, there are no external factors to promote cooperation or participation or idea generation. It's up to each individual for that, to do that. And in that case, yes, leadership is important, because let's say external to the team, the leadership from management, it's important because there are roadblocks that only them can remove. But I want to emphasize the need and the impact of individual leadership and contribution to the team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fully agree.
Yeah, because the leadership doesn't happen only in the next level in your hierarchy, right? Leadership happens at all levels. And this is the leadership in how we give the example, how we talk with our colleagues, how we expect them to give us feedback when things are going wrong, how to give feedback. And of course, there are people that are more acquainted with this kind and have more skills regarding that than others, right? But nevertheless, I believe, that's my opinion, I believe that it's something that can be worked on. It's a skill that can be worked on. And in this situation, in this 21st century where people knowledge work and being able to adapt is crucial, being a leader and being able to emphasize this way both of you were talking about is crucial for the success of the teams and the organization. So bringing this topic again of the leadership, and now I'm talking about the leadership in the organization, directors, top-level management, CEOs, etc. How, and value stream managers in the case of Bosch also, how leaders were involved in this process? Because we spoke about the developers, the teams, the operational teams, but how leaders were involved from the organization, from the teams, even newfound leaders that were rising through the process and that you probably didn't expected that person were like started to have a voice in the organization.
In our case, at Korber, we had the participation from the leadership at top level in the company, the leadership of the department in my case, and also the leadership in terms of the software development teams. As Rui was mentioning, I mean, if you look at the leadership team in terms of department, indeed is the ability to give the opportunity to introduce the methods and to invest in new ways of working, and give the freedom for the team to test different methods of work. Okay. But as we've mentioned before, the interesting thing is that throughout the implementation of the method, and since you are giving the word and the responsibility for the people that are responsible for delivering those tasks, it's interesting to see that even people that you thought that wouldn't have a particular skill for leadership, you start seeing people becoming more relevant to the team, expressing their opinions, helping with improvements or either of processes or tools, or offering themselves to support other areas of the business. For me, it was really interesting because if you do not give the panel for people to participate, you will not be able to leverage some of these skills that people have and their willingness to participate. And this is one of the things that I like most about Kanban is the fact that you give these people the opportunity to participate, and at the end of the day to excel themselves and to demonstrate that also them can be leaders of change and bring the team along with them. So you do not need to rely only on yourself or on the manager or the team. Is a team effort, and if you want to be successful, you need to have everyone pushing in the same direction. For me, was interesting, and we realized that in our team as well. People were eager to basically say, hey, I've been here for a long time and I have a view on the way we work and how we could improve.
Fernando, at Bosch, starting with the value stream managers, as the example you took, how do you see that leadership in being involved in this process?
Yeah, so when you introduce Kanban, especially in an organization where this is new for everybody, it will also be new for management. And here I'm talking about managers, not leaders. Yeah, it also for the top management is new. So one of the things that you have to make clear is what is the expectation from them, and clarify what they can expect from the method, and what is their role? How can they contribute positively to this change? Because we are not implementing Kanban, we are talking about changing people, which will then change the organization. And everybody has to be clear what can expect and what is their individual contribution to that. For example, in the previous question, the video asked something about what difference do we see. For example, I cannot compare my teams from Monday to Tuesday. Normally, I have to wait a quarter or semester to understand that when I visit them now, I see a certain type of behaviors in the teams that it's more cohesive and much working faster with each other towards the customer than it was, for example, a semester ago. Yeah, so we cannot expect to have a pill or a silver bullet and yeah, now we are agile. Yes, fine. Yes, no, it doesn't happen like that. And also we have to calibrate this to management and with the teams. As also Rui said, it's very interesting because we see all kinds of informal leaders coming up. Yeah. And because we have the opportunity because the team organizes the moments as they want. Yeah, we are just there to facilitate them and give them tips. Then we see these informal leaders coming up. Some are good in moderation of workshops. Others are good in helping others with the knowledge that they have. Others are good with timekeeping. Others are good with the method. And basically what we do as coaches, we have more important than the work that they have to do. We are looking for these signs that tell us, or behaviors that tells us that here we can find a leader for this. And because then in the end of the day, if you can have a sponsor internal in the team for the method, which understands the benefit of the method, why they have to work with the method, why they see the results, then if someone inside, let's say the team can sponsor this, it's much better than an external motivator or coach. Yeah, and so it's normal to see these informal leaders. And yes, it's not always flowers and pink and beautiful. And we also understand which are the opposite behaviors. And also that we have to address, because everybody is important. This is for the people, with the people, and everybody has to be on board. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the biggest challenge, to have these alignments of mindset, and it doesn't happen overnight. But at the same time, we need to be prepared also that to lose people in the process, because we're gonna have to find other people to join our teams, because what we have right now is not enough for the vision of the business. And in the end, it's all about this. So we are reaching the end of the webinar. We have 13 minutes left, and there is some questions from the audience to answer. But just one last question for you both. What do you expect to happen during the next month or years, with the method or without the method, like with the people and the business that you have, and what other people, other organizations can learn from your experiences, from the challenge that you work towards?
Well, in our case, first of all, we want to stabilize the methods and at least from a visibility point of view, knowledge exchange, and making sure that we have good commands of the pipeline of projects that we have, that we can master that. But what I'm really looking for is then to grasp all the benefits from other things that came together with the Kanban, like meeting such the retrospectives, where we actually have the opportunity and the forum to discuss all the challenges we have, what can we improve, what went well, what went wrong, what type of tools do we need to implement, what type of processes, what type of knowledge sharing sessions we need to implement, is really to now go to the next level and start to change the way we work and the change in the way we do software development and delivery here at Korber for the better, based on the good discussions and the forums that we've created to generate that change. And that's really my expectation, is to basically master the basics that we've already that we've already implemented, and use these bases to then move into the next level and be more agile and effective in the future. And with that, we hope to be able to improve the knowledge of our people, retain our people, but also be a place that is let's say that this is a place that will generate talent attraction and not only talent retention. So it is actually a change in the behavior and the way we do business that we're looking for here.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so David, from my side, we work with the excellence model from EFQM. So I'll give you the answer in two ways. Yeah. So of course I want to see metrics improving. So I want to make sure that we are delivering faster the sample runs to our customer. There are specific things that I can measure, and where I can see the evolution of the team from one semester to the other. But those results have to be the consequence of the approach that is being done, practice, which is becoming more mature. Yeah, and that's the kind of things that I'm looking for, the maturity of the team. How do they learn with each other? I want to go there. I want to see them more, how shall I say, open, talking to each other, improving with each other, delivering the job to the customer in a much more funnier way. That they have fun, and that they have their moments, that they really act as a team and trust each other. So those approaches, I want to see them when we visit the teams. Yeah, we call it in Portuguese cumplicidade, and we want to see that in our teams, and we want them to be cohesive. And those sort of behaviors is what I expect qualitative to see. And the different moments that we have with the Kanban method allows us to understand if those characteristics of the team is there. Yeah. So that's, in my opinion, I believe, will be the drivers to then in the end deliver better, let's say, products or services to our customer, and then the KPIs will improve. Yeah. But again, it will take time, definitely. And again, sorry, one thing, different teams will have different performances, and it's very unfair, and it's a trap, in my opinion, to compare performance of teams in terms of numbers, because we can have much more challenging customers, much more challenging process, much more challenging products. What we can compare, and we should compare, but not as an end in itself, but as a beginning with the possibility to benchmark and learn, is how the different teams interact with each other in the different moments. How do they do the refinements? How do they do the replenishment? What can I learn from that moment from one team to the other? And do it in a perspective of learning. Why are they better on succeeding that? Is it the hour? Is it the team composition? Is it the way that they do the meetings? Because that, yes, we can compare. Because KPIs, it's very hard comparing this in these types of methods, because we can run the risk of being unfair because of the product or the process. Yeah. Sorry.
It's a consequence. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a consequence of how the team communicate, align, and work towards those objectives. And we shouldn't think about those fixed amounts, those values, as the goal, right? It's a consequence in the end. Of course, there is metrics that we need to follow on, and it's important for the business. But as we pass the intent in the objective, those KPIs should be the consequence of how the team will work. Okay, both Rui Fernandes and Rui Pacheco, we have now some time to answer questions from the public. There are 4 questions now to answer. We have one of them is from Rui Pedro Saraiva, and I think this one will capture one thing that Rui Pacheco mentioned, which is, you said that it helps deliver on time. All the work that you do is fixed date, so is all like fixed date, so it helps on deliver on time.
Correct. I mean, one of the challenges we had was we would accept so much work into the working process column of the Kanban that eventually you would have too many dishes rolling at the same time, and eventually you would not deliver on time probably any of them. So the fact that we are now much more strict in terms of prioritization of the work that we accept into the work in progress funnel is really helping with the on-time delivery. Okay. Also made us realize that in terms of planning and good planning and estimation of times, we need to take that in consideration. We have a better understanding of our capacity versus demand, and when we're discussing with customers and agreeing on delivery dates, we have much better confidence on the dates that we can commit to nowadays. Okay, even if the number of the projects we have is higher, you have a better understanding of the work that will take to deliver and the capacity you have to do it. So from that perspective, yes, it did indeed help to deliver on time compared where we came from.
And Rui Fernandes, the change to value streams impacted your organization shorts?
Shorts? What do you mean shorts?
The structure.
Yes, of course, it has to. It had an impact, but in the end of the day, there were no major changes in terms. I don't know what's the expectation of the question, but we all kept our roles, and what we tried much more was to bring the decision making process to the teams itself. Yeah. So instead of having a department manager and several departments and the skills organized by departments, we have the different skills now with one team, in this case with 4 teams, and it's multidisciplinary team, and with a value stream leader. Yeah. And but more and more we want everybody to be able to do everything. It will take time, but that's something also that the Kanban board and the Kanban approach will help us. It will not be easy because there are skills that are very specific, but there's a lot of work that can be learned from each other, and we don't need always to learn by having trainings or visits and so on. We can learn from our colleagues, and yes, it impacted, definitely it has an impact, but I don't know if that answers the question. I don't know which angle are we trying to see this impact. Yeah, so
yeah, I believe that Rui Saraiva was trying to understand if this change to value stream structure changed how the roles of people, how they position themselves in the organization.
I think it had more impact in terms of the managers than the people itself in the teams, because instead of reporting to manager A, now you report to value stream B. That was the major difference. Yeah.
Good. Talking about training, and there is a question regarding training. When and how did you train the teams? You can speak about Kanban or other topics. Did you train the team before adopting the method, during the method, the adoption of the methods?
In our case, we had a specific training before and then during. So before, just to basically first understand how do we work, what is the expectation, start introducing the people into the method, so that the first time we look into the Kanban board is not something completely new for the team. So we've provided the basis to the team, and then it was a process of on-job training, where on a daily basis we would assess the status of the Kanban board, have informed discussions about it, how could we improve in using the method. So yeah, definitely we had an initial session to bring the people into the basics of the method, and then we had on-job training, let's say, which for me is really, really important. And when we started this, and we've discussed with David, for us was paramount. We didn't want to have training and then let the people try by themselves, because we've tried that before and it didn't work. Okay, we needed to be coached and to be supported in progressing in using the method before we could do it by ourselves. And I guess the way in which we're doing it is good, because before you run, you need to know how to walk. We got the support to start walking, then we walked a little bit. Now we're getting more support to run, and I think it's a good base for this to be ingrained in how the team is working.
Yeah, we are almost reaching the end. We have three questions. I hope we can get it. This is a technical question here regarding a DAO. Yeah, I think it's a scenario where a team that this person is asking has many stages in the board, so it takes a long time to reach the end, right? And the approval doesn't happen, so there is work it stays for a lot of time in one place, right, for validation. And since the approval doesn't happen during that time, well, it stops, right? The delivery stops at the time. And you are asking if there is any suggestion to remove the dependency from this validation, right? My 2 cents here, that understand why it takes so much time. If it does take more time for validation because it's somebody from that is not working in the team. It takes too much time because there is a process in the middle that is slow, and it could be automated or get better. Or is there anything that is impacting? Because for what I do as a consultant, I try to understand from the day one which are the constraints that are happening there, because probably there's a couple of constraints that we have to study and to start understanding the root cause to removing it. Nevertheless, your scenario, yeah, is quite common, and probably Rui Fernandes from Bosch already saw it. Work that was staying a long time until it's really done. And yeah, that's my 2 cents right here.
Yeah, I would suggest just simply eliminate the need for approval or checking. If not possible, just make it faster by bringing that competence into the team. And if it's a super high-tech manager or a super high guy that has a specific knowledge, then make sure that leadership, and yes, now I mean managers, understand that this is a roadblock and quantify that. These are the types of KPIs that I like to measure. How much would my lead time be reduced to the customer if this dependency, if this blockage was improved? And this is a good KPI to measure and to show to management. And that's why management also has their role. And the role of management is indeed to facilitate the team with the right tools and making sure that these roadblocks, if it is in their scope of area to be eliminated, reduced or eliminated. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, that's the ownership that we are giving the teams to take this issue and discussing it and finding ways to solve it. And like you mentioned, if it's impacting the lead time to another team or to the client, yes, we have to discuss it and to solve it.
And I'm sure management is more than happy to help,
yes,
because they are the first ones to do that, want to reduce lead time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, exactly. The person confirmed that was the tip he was looking for. We are already 2 minutes over the time, but I think there is some good question. I don't know, both Ruiz, if you want to stay just a couple of minutes to answer these ones.
I'm okay with that.
Good.
Good.
There is one here. Do you think that without good team spirit, the complicidade has the word used by Fernandes, without good team spirit, the Kanban method could not be efficient as expected?
I can share my experience. Again, we have 3 teams with Kanban, 3 value stream teams, and all have different performance. One thing that I saw already in the past, and I see it more and more happen also with the method of Kanban, the team and the behaviors within the team, or especially the deviating behaviors of the team, someone that is not complying as it should. The best way to correct them is if the team auto-regulates itself. So management and we that are coaching the teams, we are always driving the teams in a way that the people itself can provide feedback and can be open enough to correct within the team that behavior. This does not mean that we shout at them that you have to solve this out. No, there are approaches to do that, and first we do it individually, normally I say we complement teams publicly, and we deal with individuals for deviating behaviors individually and in private. And one thing that needs to be, I don't know in the other plans, but something that happened here a lot in our company was we had to teach each other, also the team members, how to give feedback. This is something that the teams have to be developed. It's a consequence from the board to improve the work. People have to give feedback. And remember, this is only work. And we have to teach the individuals of the teams how to provide feedback, because we need feedback, we need to communicate to improve. And sometimes we are not able even to communicate. Some people don't take it very well, because maybe we also don't communicate very well the feedback. Yeah. So yes, there are ways to deal with the different behaviors, especially the less performing ones. Ultimately, as David said, sometimes we have to take that member of the team. It didn't happen for us, maybe close, but it didn't happen for us. But before we do that,
yeah, it can happen naturally. It can happen naturally. People can think that, okay, it's not what I'm looking for.
And one additional tip, be open about it. Talk about this. It's normal that not everybody will feel well in the team and might have to leave. It's normal. It's not putting pressure. It's normal. It's evolution. But it should be the team identifying that they have done what they could to integrate that person, to bring it to the level that they want. But both of them, both the team and that member, believe that it's better that they move apart. This is the most natural and best way to do things. And we have our jobs, and our job as coaches and leaders is to bring that into the teams, that they self-regulate. It should be the team, for example, picking a new member for the team, for example, not someone from the outside. Yeah, this is the kind of level of maturity that we want to reach. Yeah, and until then, we have to support them. Of course, that's our job.
I definitely agree with that, and if anything, I think that Kanban will eventually help with increasing the complicidade. One of the things that we've done here that for me were really interesting was to agree on the house rules for the sessions that we had, and everybody agreed with that. So from the moment that you agree and you sign off on the house rules, you can't be mad at someone that calls you out because you're not following the house rules. Is the house rules, is the team rules. You guys have defined those, not someone else. So yeah, let's leave these house rules. So if anything, I would say that it actually helps to increase the way people deal with each other in the team, and to increase the level of complexity between the teams.
Perfect. Thank you, Rui, Fernandes, Rui Pacheco, and everybody at home.